Hello, my dear friends. My name is Harold, and welcome to The Sanctum. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we can begin to balance the two hemispheres of the brain and begin to transcend individual polarity. So, first of all, it's important to note that our body is split into two halves. We've got a solar half, according to the Hermetic philosophy, and we have a lunar half of the body. One is projective in nature, meaning energy moving outwards, and one is receptive in nature, meaning energy moving inwards. This is akin to the Taoist concept of yin and yang. We can associate the yang as being the color white and yin as being the color black. So these two poles are there in everything that we experience in physical reality. Hence why one of the Hermetic laws is called the law of polarity. The law of polarity states that everything can exist, or everything has two poles to it, a positive pole and a negative pole. So positive and negative, when I'm talking about positivity and negativity, I'm talking about this not in terms of good and evil. I'm just talking about it in terms of a pole of a battery. One side of the battery may be positive and the other side is negative, and both of these poles are required in order to allow an electrical charge to flow through it. So in the same way, everything in our body and in life has these two poles, and even the experiences that we have these two poles. Even in our body, we've got a right hand and a left hand. We've got a projective hand and we've got a receptive hand. We've got two lungs, we've got two eyes, we've got two ears, we've got two nostrils. So all of these, even in our body, we have polarity. And the experiences that we have, depending on our own inner polarity, we may respond to these experiences slightly differently. So what happens when we start to sync or synchronize the two brain hemispheres? First, it will allow communication between the two hemispheres to take place. By allowing this to take place, this improves our intelligence, it improves our ability to learn, it improves our ability to communicate, it improves our ability for our conscious mind to communicate with our unconscious mind, and our unconscious mind to communicate with our conscious mind, and thereby enhancing our own capability to transcend our inner polarity, our inner sense of experiencing life as something separate from us and seeing things as two rather than as one thing. And this is done through synchronizing two hemispheres. This has also various energetic benefits, and also if you're somebody who is interested in mesmerism and cultivating personal magnetism, this can be a very powerful exercise to cultivate that energetic force a lot stronger. And in order to do this, what you're going to need is one of these chessboards or a checkerboard that you can very easily get. Now, with this particular one, I've actually never used it to actually play chess. I've only used it for these sorts of meditative type practices. And what you're going to do is, first of all, you can see that a checkerboard has black squares and it's got white squares. And essentially this meditation, what you're going to do is you're going to take a checkerboard. It doesn't have to be this big, it could be smaller, and you're going to be placing it on a table in front of you, maybe the height of your chest or even a bit lower, that's fine, wherever you can see it. And right on the sides of the chessboard or checkerboard, you want to have two candles, two white candles. It's important that they are white candles, and you want to knock all the lights off or find a place where it's dark, and you're going to stare without placing your attention on a particular square, you're going to stare with these candle lights on, with the lights off, at the checkerboard. Just anywhere, just generally on the checkerboard. You want to stare without blinking. Now what's going to happen is, after a while of staring, you'll notice that the black and the white squares will all start to become the same color. They will start to become grayish. In the start, you might not notice this, or it might be very faint, but as you begin to practice, you are starting to depolarize and unite the yin and the yang by bringing the two colors of the squares together, thereby creating a union externally of polarity. And by doing this every day, even for 5 minutes, you will start to unite the poles in your brain, creating a communication between the conscious and the unconscious, between the right and the left hemisphere, between the analytical and the creative, emotional, affective part of your mind and brain. It's a very powerful exercise, and it may seem strange when you first start to do it, but these are really old practices that were used. Maybe not using a checkerboard, people may have used actual checkered floors back in the day to do it. To depolarize as well as unite and create a communication between the two halves of your brain, the two hemispheres in your brain. And you want to do this while staring at the squares, and if for any reason you start to tear up, or while you have your eyes open, you want to rub your palms, create a bit of heat, and gently cup your eyes like this without touching them, so that you heat up the eyes with the warmth from your hands, and this will soothe the eyes. But with practice, you can start with 1 minute without blinking, increase it to 2 minutes, increase it to 3, until you can do 5 minutes without blinking. And you'll notice, if you do this every day, you can do it for even a period of a month. Very quickly at one point, you'll notice that from it being black and white squares, you'll start to notice that it's not black and white anymore. You start to notice that they become gray when you stare at it. But as soon as you break your concentration, it will return back to being black and white. But if you stare at it for a certain period of time, you'll notice that your mind begins to merge the black and white together, creating almost like a complete gray board with vertical and horizontal lines creating the squares. So it creates gray squares. It's quite peculiar and interesting. And when you start to do this, and you do it more and more, you will notice that it will become easier and easier for your brain to be able to interact with information, to be able to decipher information, to be able to communicate, to be able to go within, as well as to be able to pick up things and learn things quite quickly. And it is truly a powerful practice, and there's a lot of benefit to doing this. And it's not something that is commonly found and taught to the public. And I hope you found it interesting. And it's something that you need to practice every day to truly see the benefits of it. And it does generate an element of personal power, personal magnetism, and inner wisdom when you continue to work with it over a period of time. So if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Peace.